All right, so in this video, we're going to show you how to log into Ambit for the first time, deploy Aembit Edge, and get secretless access to an outside service. Now, Aembit Cloud is a fully managed SaaS from Ambit. We're going to be logging in there to do our configurations in a bit. The Aembit Edge will be deployed in Docker Desktop running on my Mac. Docker Desktop is also where our workload lives. In this video, the workload is an application we've created called GlobeX Portal. This application does not include any of the authentication for the service itself. And the service we're going to be using in this video is Microsoft Graph. And what we're going to be using it for is to query for employee names in the Azure Active Directory. Let's get started. So first, let's log into the Ambit admin portal. And this thing is pretty fresh. There's really nothing installed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy Aembit Edge. And I'm running this on my Mac using Docker. But I'll show you guys all the steps. I'll put it right here so I can grab it. So first, I go say deploy Aembit Edge. Right now, there's nothing configured. I don't have any existing. I'm going to say let's create a new one. I'm going to call it Azure Lab. And for this is all you need to do. I'm going to say save. So I created an agent controller. Now I'm going to use Helm to deploy Aembit Edge. So first thing we're going to do is generate code. Now I have 15 minutes from when I click to actually use this because there's a code over here, device code, that's tied to this deployment. Okay, so the first step is to add the Ambit Helm chart repository. So we copy this command. Okay, so it's been added, and then now we run the install command. Okay, great. And it will start installing. All right, let's check on the install. Okay, great. Everything is up and running. We should be good to go. All right, this third step is to inject Ambit into GlobeX Portal. And the way we do this for us is we edit a YAML file. I think I've already done this. Let me just confirm. Yep, so this is done under annotations. I have the Ambit IO inject. Okay. All right, so we are done. So let's look at our agent controllers. Okay, so here you can see everything's good. I got the version number. I got the status. So all good on this end. So next thing we need to do is we need to add the policy. I'm going to add a new one. And there's a couple ways to do it. You can directly go to these, or we can start here and just say new. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is add a client workload. I'm going to call this Kubernetes because it's running here. Let me check my pod name. Okay, so it's just GlobeX Portal. We're going to use that. So I'm going to call it Kubernetes. Yeah, this should be good. And then we're going to use the pod name prefix, and it's GlobeX Portal, and that's it. So now I'm telling it to trust the workload that I have on my system. That information, or the ID of the workload, is GlobeX Portal and all this other stuff, but it should trust it. Then I'm going to tell it for the server workload, we're going to do MS Graph. And the host for MS Graph is graph.microsoft.com. The application protocol is going to be HTTP port 80 and then also port 443. So we just have to click TLS. For authentication here, it uses HTTP authentication and it uses a bearer document. And that's all we need here. So I click Save. And then the last thing I need to do is add the credentials. So I'm going to copy all that stuff here. And these are the credentials that I would be using if I wanted to just directly authenticate via the APIs. But when we issue the commands, all of that stuff goes away. It's all in the background. So I say new. I'm going to call this MSFT. I think that's all I need to do here. It's going to be an OAuth 2.0 client credential. And then, okay, client ID. The token endpoint URL. The scopes. And then the client secret. And I'm going to make sure that all the stuff is hidden. Okay, so now I click Save. Okay, once everything's been added, we say Save and Activate. Okay, and now everything that we need to do has been configured. All right, now we're going to go try the Microsoft Graph API again. And you can, as you can see, it's actually pulling information. The other stuff isn't configured yet, so if I go to this little test runner app, I'm just going to run it real quick, stop. You can see that the only one that's passing is Microsoft Graph, because that's the only one I have configured. But the rest of it is not configured, so obviously not working at this time. If we go back to the dashboard, you'll see that there's an active policy, active client. I haven't configured any trust provider yet. There's one agent controller that I have, and then a server workload and the credential provider. And if I continue to use this, you'll see information happening here. Now, if I go to reporting, you'll see that we've made the call, everything's worked. So that's it. That's setting up one server workload with a local client running on my system. Thank you.